Donald Trump's executive order, a reshaping of American history at the Smithsonian. In a bold and controversial move, President Donald Trump has issued an executive order fundamentally altering the direction of the Smithsonian Institution, the world's largest museum, education, and research complex. The order, released on Thursday, signals a significant shift in the nation's approach to historical interpretation and the presentation of American history. The president's stated goal is to eradicate what he deems improper, divisive, or anti-American ideology from the Smithsonian's extensive holdings and operations. This sweeping initiative is spearheaded by Vice President JD Vance, who has been tasked with the formidable responsibility of overseeing the implementation of the executive order. The order explicitly directs Vance to purge the Smithsonian's museums, educational centers, research facilities, and even the National Zoo of what the administration considers improper ideology. This vaguely defined term has ignited considerable debate and sparked concerns about potential censorship and the suppression of diverse perspectives. The executive order doesn't merely suggest a subtle reevaluation of exhibits, it represents a forceful intervention into the narrative of American history. Trump's proclamation alleges a concerted and widespread campaign over the past decade to distort historical facts, replacing objective truths with an ideologically driven narrative. This characterization mirrors frequent rhetoric on right-wing media outlets, framing a perceived assault on traditional American values and a deliberate attempt to rewrite the past. Central to this restructuring is the American Women's History Museum, a project that has been the subject of considerable political debate. The executive order explicitly instructs Vance to ensure that the museum does not recognize men as women in any respect. This directive has drawn criticism from LGBTQ+ advocacy groups and those concerned about the exclusion of transgender women from the historical record. The order's language is unambiguous, reflecting a hardline stance on gender identity and aligning with the current administration's broader approach to such issues. Beyond the direct targeting of the Smithsonian, Trump's executive order hints at broader implications for the presentation of American history nationwide. His statement seemed to suggest a potential revival of Confederate-era monuments and namesakes, many of which have been removed or renamed in recent years amidst ongoing discussions about the nation's complex and often painful past. This aspect of the order fuels concerns about a potential resurgence of symbols representing a deeply divisive period in American history. The implications of Trump's executive order are far-reaching and potentially transformative. It raises fundamental questions about the role of museums and educational institutions in shaping public understanding of history. Critics argue that the order represents a dangerous overreach of executive power, potentially leading to the suppression of dissenting voices and the distortion of historical accuracy to fit a particular political narrative. Others contend that the order is a necessary correction, aiming to restore a more balanced and patriotic perspective on American history. The order's impact extends beyond the Smithsonian. It potentially sets a precedent for similar interventions in other federally funded museums and institutions, raising concerns about the politicization of cultural heritage and the potential for a chilling effect on scholarly research and artistic expression. The vague language of the order and the broad scope of its directives leave room for subjective interpretation, raising concerns about potential abuse of power and arbitrary decision-making. The controversy surrounding this executive order is likely to continue for the foreseeable future, becoming a significant battleground in the ongoing debate over the interpretation of American history and the appropriate role of government in shaping public narratives. The future of the Smithsonian, and indeed the broader landscape of American historical representation, hangs in the balance, dependent on the unfolding implementation of this highly contentious executive action. The coming months and years will be crucial in determining the long-term consequences of this dramatic shift in the nation's approach to its historical legacy. The debate over truth, accuracy, and the appropriate representation of the past within the public sphere is far from over.